Hey everybody, it's the Forgotten Hoodie in the Closet, and today I'm coming at you with a different thing from last video. Last video was a Spotify life hack, or a Spotify hack, where you could skip ads and not have to download anything, so you should really go check that out. It's the only other video on my channel right now. But today I'm bringing you a survival guide for just anything that might need a survival guide. So, no matter what you're preparing for, if it's a storm, if it's a war, if it's a nuclear apocalypse or something like that, or if it's even the zombie apocalypse, whatever it is, you have to be prepared. You gotta be ready for anything. So the first thing is shelter. If you have everything else and you don't have a shelter, what's the point of having everything else if you're not gonna be able to protect it all? So you gotta have the shelter. For a storm, it's good to have like a basement. Those are pretty much almost sufficient. If it's a war, you should probably also have a basement or a shelter in an undisclosed location. And then the same thing should be for a nuclear war. You should have a shelter in a faraway place where it's deep enough underground that you can live there for several months to years. Yes, it's crazy, but several months to years. And you want to be able to stay down there for a very long time and not have to come back up to the surface for anything. Food. Dehydrated food. MREs. Dehydrated food. Stuff like that. It's the greatest stuff ever. It's not that bad. It's not what it sounds like. It's actually pretty good when all you're wanting is a hot meal. You just add water or you just heat it up and it's ready. Canned goods work just as well. They last very, very long time. And then you got water. Just have the simple rule of thumb is to, when you're preparing, is to get a gallon of water per person per day. So you want to make sure, and not everybody, you don't have to drink a gallon of water every day per person. You just want to plan to have a gallon of water per person per day. So then, when need be, you have enough water. And entertainment, you gotta have stuff to do. So I actually recently bought the solar powered battery phone chargers. So what you do is you leave them out in the sun and then they charge up, and then at the end of the day you got 4 portable chargers all ready to go. And and then I plug those in to this, which is my 3-in-1 charger. It has a USB and a micro USB so you can charge it. And then it's got a Apple Watch charger, which I have an Apple Watch. I'm not going to reach over and grab it though. And it also has an AirPods charger, which doesn't work too well because it just closes. But it's really useful. You can charge all 3, and it helps save a lot of space in my backpack in my normal days because I don't have to take another charging cord. So that's a good thing. And then you always have to be ready. So you can't just be like slacking around, kind of like what I'm doing in cases of tense times, like if the weather outside is looking not very well, or if things in politics and the news are getting pretty tense. You wanna make sure that you're ready for something like this, so that when the time comes, you're not going crazy. And then be ready. So as a CAP cadet, Semper Vigilantes, only the other cadets will know that that is. Alright, next is sustain. So one of the biggest things is entertainment. So you don't want to go insane when you're hiding and waiting for someone to come and rescue you out from rubble, or you don't want to go insane while you're living in a small box underground, or you don't want to go insane when you're out evading war or something like that. So you want to entertain each other. Storytelling is a good way to do it. Telling jokes, coming up with random fairy tales and just stuff like that. And then a big thing is finding things to do in your free time. So most likely, if you're living in a big enough shelter, there will be a lot of things to do to make sure that your shelter is staying afloat during the day and throughout the night, just to make it through, just to make sure that your family is surviving and stuff like that. And make it a vacation rather than a relocation. I cannot stress this enough, guys. You want to make it a vacation rather than a relocation. You don't want to be like, oh my gosh, we have to come live here. It means the end of the world is coming. No. You want to make it like, we're coming to stay here until we can go back to our home. So, or you're saying, we're coming to stay here rather than staying at our home. So when you think about it, it's really just a vacation, but not one that everybody would want to go on. But you want to make it a vacation rather than a relocation. So that's one of the big things. And then know when to leave to go to your shelter and know when to leave your shelter in and of itself. So, most likely, if you're needing to know when to leave your shelter, the only way that you're going to be able to get in touch with the outside world is with the radio. So, if you're needing to stay in a shelter for a long period of time, the radio, there's mostly going to have been an EMP disaster, so there will be no phones, no computers, no networks, no networking of any kind. The only thing that'll be spared are the radios. So listening to the radios will be very helpful. And the thing is that typically when you need to be hearing things in times like these or in times like those, over the radio, all stations will be broadcasting the exact same thing, so you won't have to worry about what frequency to tune into. And if possible, as like such for a storm or new or a war event, you want to watch the news because they're always going to inform you on what you need to know. And then, as always, be ready for anything. Semper Vigilantes, and that's about it. So that's a general survival guide. And yeah, so just a couple ending tips. You want to get a go bag, so you want to get a backpack, like a big backpack, typically, and then you're going to want to fill that stuff with maybe a change of clothes, something to stay in on the run, some money, some food, some tools, some things to start a fire, some mapping equipment, batteries, charging batteries, and a lot of stuff like that that you think would be necessary for you to survive whatever you're going to survive or whatever you're planning to survive in. Have it in a place where you can get to quickly and be able to move quickly. So I'm actually going to be doing a review on a backpack that I'm going to be buying soon. It's a military backpack. It's got all these really cool patches, and I'm going to be using it a lot as a 24-hour pack for Civil Air Patrol, which I'll touch up on more in a later video. And that's about it you need to know for the survival guide. So, as I said earlier in the video, this is definitely a step back from what the last episode was, which was just a Spotify hack. And yeah, that's about it. So, I got a lot of good ideas coming for y'all in the future. Please do leave a comment on a video idea because I need more of those. Also, if you could share the video, that'd be awesome. I would love that. If you would drop a like and a subscribe. You don't have to, but I would love it if you did. So thank you. Thank you for watching. This is the Forgotten Hoodie in the Closet. And stay prepared.